This is the BenQ PD3225U. This is a 4K calibrated HDR display, and this is how it compares up against my 27-inch iMac. This thing is huge. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel, folks. My name's Shane. If you're unfamiliar with this channel, I review a lot of camera equipment and general tech, but I'm also a content creator of many years across multiple channels, and that's where this comes in. So I thought we'd check out this beautiful screen from the folks over at BenQ. This is their PD3225U. This is great for video editing, photo editing, or general content creation. This 32-inch monitor is not only bigger than Apple's alternative, it's also less expensive without any compromise in terms of image quality. This monitor is full of ports, and if I hook it up via Thunderbolt like I am right now, I can simply plug a hard drive directly into the screen and it will show up on my desktop. It's very plug and play, just like an iMac. This monitor will save you about 37% off the cost of buying the Apple display, and it's much larger, as you saw in the comparison up against my 27-inch iMac, and this doesn't have those big ugly bezels, which makes it for a much better experience. Now we'll get into some of the features, but I want to talk a little bit about why this is such a great deal. So not only is it cheaper, but we get speakers, we get all the ports and connectivity you could need, and you get everything included. This display is fully adjustable, both up and down. You can also tilt it towards you or back away from you, and you can also completely flip it into vertical orientation, which is amazing. Now, BenQ also provide all of the different cables you could need to get this monitor working. So we get a Thunderbolt cable included, and it's currently plugged into my MacBook over here, which allows it to fully charge the battery just with one cable, and then I can output the display here. I can opt to mirror it. I can do all that kind of stuff, but it gets even better because I can actually have two separate displays on at one time. Now, this is a 60 Hertz display, which means I can even use it for gaming, which is fantastic. And that's at 4K or 1080p, it doesn't matter. You're going to get great performance out of this monitor. Now, this has a really great contrast rating of 2000:1. So if you're doing any type of image or video editing, it's a very pleasing experience to use. I've been editing video now for years on my 2015 iMac and on my 2020 iMac, and both have done a really great job. And I didn't think the resolution of this would come close to the 5K display. But if you take a look at a side-by-side comparison of exactly the same portion on both of these videos, you can see the clarity on the BenQ is actually superior. If you're a content creator, for example, like if you do what I do, and you have reference monitors in your room so you can see exactly what's going on, I can plug two cameras directly into this, side by side it, and use one monitor as a reference monitor for two cameras. I love this, and this means I could use it with an A10 Mini or any other type of HDMI device. While this monitor does have an anti-glare coating, it doesn't affect the sharpness whatsoever, as you saw in those tests, so it does a really great job at eliminating reflections back to you from the viewer. Now, if you've got really strong lights just hitting it directly, you will see it, but I got one right on my desk here and a few studio lights, and I think it's doing a really great job. If I show you a comparison between my MacBook, for example, or the iMac and the BenQ screen, it's not even close. This does a much better job at stopping the glare. Let's talk about who this is for. So I'm in the market for a Mac Studio, and if I get the model that I want, it jacks the price up a lot, and then I've got to add a screen, which would add quite a lot of money. So this will actually save me money on a screen, but I'm still getting a monitor that's very good to look at. I would put this easily on par with my 5K iMac 27-inch display, except I think the color rendition on this is actually more accurate. I edited a few projects on this display, and it was an absolute pleasure. I tested it for gaming, and that 60 Hertz refresh rate looks good. And if you're someone who likes to do image editing or multitasking, this screen is a pleasure to work with. If you're someone who's got a Mac Mini, a Mac Studio, or even a MacBook laptop, for example, you can just plug it directly into this and get a really premium image that's 4K, and it's also HDR, which is beautiful. But furthermore, you also get the plug and play experience, which is what I really like. I can just plug a hard drive directly into the side, plug headphones into it, and I'm in business. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can operate the screen, but one of my favorite ways is by using the little command dial thing that it comes with over here. So this is awesome. It allows me to essentially bring up a menu just by tapping the main button here, and then I can cycle through and change everything from the brightness, the sharpness, the color, the audio. I can also adjust a picture in picture just by using this little guy right here. So this is awesome. and I can also adjust the volume, and you can fully customize all of the functionality as well thanks to the software that you can install on your Mac, and that works great. It hasn't crashed, it hasn't done anything weird, it's just worked, which has been a really nice experience. While my time with this monitor has been fantastic, there's a couple of things that you need to know about it, especially if you are planning on using it as the only sound device. Now, the onboard speakers are okay, but they're not great. Let's have a listen to how this compares up against my 2020 iMac. The basic animal tracking of the old firmware has now been upgraded to animal eye and body tracking. The basic animal tracking of the old firmware has now been upgraded to animal eye and body tracking. As you can hear, it's not even close. I also tested the onboard speakers up against the speakers built into my MacBook, and the MacBook, again, sounded better to my ear. It just sounded fuller. The basic animal tracking of the old firmware has now been upgraded to animal eye and body tracking. Like all of the tracking modes, you'll see a yellow box come up and it will either select the body at a distance or the eye if they're up close. If you're using this as your primary audio source, you might want to invest in either a great set of headphones, which you can plug directly into the side, or of course a set of studio monitors, which will change the game big time. Secondly, the next thing that's omitted from this display that you might find on the Apple alternative is there's no webcam anywhere. So odds are, if you're a gamer, you probably already own a much better one than the one built into the iMac, for example. It's nothing special. So, you know, definitely not a deal breaker, but again, worth mentioning. When it came to the unboxing experience, it didn't quite go to plan, but everything that I could have wanted was in the box. You're supposed to just slide this piece out and then you're good to go. I actually had to rip the box open because something was stuck. But anyway, it was probably user error on that behalf, but just follow the instructions on the box and you'll be good to go. If you want to put together a Mac or PC for any type of media production work like what I do on YouTube here, this screen will make the world of difference. And again, you can buy it and have it as a 2-in-1 screen for a dual camera setup, which is, again, another really handy thing to have. There's ports all over this thing. They've basically thought of everything and they've made it very simple to set up. The overall setup process couldn't have been easier. I just attached the base to this pole bit here, clipped it into the back of the screen, and that was it. It took me like 3 minutes to set up. So the setup is awesome. I have a few other monitor reviews on my channel from going way back now, and I think this is by far the best one I've seen personally. And when I get my Mac Studio, I'll be using this, but with a set of reference monitors. So yeah, again, if you're doing serious video editing, you'll just want a better audio solution. But the screen is absolutely beautiful. The colors and contrast look great. I have no problems with the sharpness of this display, and putting it next to a 5K monitor, I think this actually looks better, or at least with the ones that I've got. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments section, and a massive thanks to BenQ for working with me on this particular video. So consider this video sponsored by them, but I'm giving you my pros and cons of this beautiful looking display. So thanks again for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. See ya.